it doesn't mean that it's a Labour Party that went there. You should have to distinguish individual from the party. And when after that meeting, he didn't say he has entered into coalition. So I think we need to make this one clear. But I think he's in a better position to speak for himself on that issue. And if he has, I'm not sure he has definitely resigned from Labour Party. So I think this matter has been addressed even before now.
Ratification of interim National Working Committee, INWC. The NEC unanimously ratified and inaugurated the interim National Working Committee of the Labour Party under the leadership of Senator Nenadi E. Usman as the interim national chairman and Senator Darlington Nwokocha as the interim national secretary, among other persons. 2. Approval of the schedule for the party congresses and national convention. The NEC approved the detailed schedules for the conduct of world congresses, local government area congresses, state congresses, zonal congresses, and the national convention of the Labour.
Meanwhile, Abia State Governor Alex Oti has called for unity in Labour Party amid the leadership tussle within the party. The Governor Oti added that all efforts must be made to ensure that the party succeeds. He made this call on Friday in Abuja during the party's National Executive Council that had in attendance key figures, including the President of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Joe Ajaero. Oti, the party's only governor, explains that the statutory NEC meeting is coming at the instance of the Supreme Court's judgment, which affirmed Senator Usman Nadi as the Labour Party national chairman. He also advised the Julius Abure-led faction to be humble enough and obey the apex court judgment. In his remarks, Ajaero described the Labour Party as a party for the common man, adding that party members should not be discouraged by some of the challenges plaguing the party. The Progressives Congress APC has emphasized the urgent need to confront the weaponization of ethnicity, religion, and misinformation ahead of the 2027 general elections. The party urged its spokesperson nationwide to rise to the challenge and address these issues decisively. Speaking at a capacity-building seminar for APC's zonal and state policy secretaries, on Friday, the party's national secretary, Ajibola Basiru, and the Minister of Solid Minerals, Dele Alake, highlighted the positive impact of President Bola Tinubu's economic reforms, including the removal of fuel subsidy and unification of exchange rates on infrastructure development and economic opportunities. Basiru, in his remarks, expressed concern over the growing ethnic divisions in the country, noting that such fault lines were not as pronounced during his youth as they become during the 2023 elections. He also faulted the ongoing coalition movement ahead of the general elections.
Coalition cannot even occur in a presidential system of government. So if anybody is talking of coalition, tell them to go back to secondary school to go and learn government. Some of us who read law, we did government in secondary school. A coalition is occur in a parliamentary system of government when a party cannot secure majority in parliament to be able to form government. So when you are in opposition, you are not even securing anything. You say you are forming coalition. I think Nigeria, people like BB Grammar, they know because they are already splintered, they are already been factionalized, that they are no longer up to one. So what is not up to one, they want to make it 5 by saying they are forming coalition. Who are those that are coalescing? Is it politicians that did not deliver their word and unit in the last election? Is it politician that was seriously defeated? And when you now talk, somebody that did not vote for Asiwaju in 2023 said that he is leaving APC to go and form coalition. You ask yourself, what was the benefit of your being where you were before, where you did not add any value to us. So we must expose the kind of aura of atmosphere of largeness that they are giving the very small and minute microcosm they are putting together as.
The executive arm of government has been described as the only force capable of effecting true change in the constitutional amendment process of the country. Executive Director of the Compact Development Initiative, Bukolaido, stated this during Western Spring Television's Morning Spring program, as he argued that the members of Nigeria's government have turned the constitutional amendment into an annual cash cow. Idowu added that the African Democratic Congress coalition is going to provide competition in Nigeria's political theater. However, political and national equity advocate Akin Fakonda said the Nigerian state is on a path of democratic change due to the upset in political dynamics. It would be recalled that on Monday, the Patriots group presented a bill in the Senate for the drafting of a new constitution.
As far as 2011, every legislative houses in this country, whether Fifth Assembly, Sixth Assembly, they have been having budgetary allocation for constitution review, and they have been having huge amount of money. If you go and look at the committee budget, these have been increasing every year, and at the same time every assembly. And see, look, this present assembly now, led by Gospel Akpabio, just concluded, the Senate just concluded the public hearing on constitutional review, and money was budgeted. They went to the 6th geopolitical zone. They were in, for Southwest, it was held in Lagos. For South, it was held in Akwa Ibom. For South East, it was held in Enugu. And for South, for North Central, it was held in Jos. And then for North East, it was held in Borno, and then Northwest, Kano. So they've gone to the place, dispatch the administrative staff, clerks, administrative staff, and legislators, senators to go to those places and listen to the people. Now, just last week, before the demise of the former President Buhari, now the House of Rep are also doing their own in 2 locations in each of these places. Now, do you know the amount of money that went into that, which they have been doing?
There is National Assembly Committee on amendment of the Constitution. They have been moving around and they have been working, and many Nigerians are saying, what does the patriot want that the National Assembly-led Constitution Committee cannot achieve?
And they're going to be a draft bill ready for National Assembly.
People like Amechi, people like Aregbesola, all of them have their people. So you cannot throw this ADC somewhere and say, no, they don't have a political way to pull a surprise. But I think it's going to be an interesting, and for some of us, I think, for me, I like this because it's going to provide competition as we move into 2027 election. Because if this is not happening, PDP is fragmented, Labour Party is fragmented, NNPP, Kwakwaso Party is even fragmented. So you now look at, where is the opposition? Don't forget, before this coalition, we've already been talking about, everybody is decamping to APC. We are likely going to have one-party state. But this is providing a platform for serious competition, and it's good for democracy. I tell you, it is good for democracy.
Away from politics, Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court, Abuja, has been urged to order the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, to enter a defense in the alleged terrorism charge brought against him by the federal government. The counsel for the prosecution, Adegboyega Awomolo, who made this request during Friday's proceedings, urged the court to reject the no-case submission made by the defense. He prayed the court to instead ordered him to explain why he engaged in alleged terrorist activities that promoted violence and destruction, including the alleged killing of not less than 170 security officials, while adopting the prosecution's address in opposition to the no-case submission made by Kanu. Awomolo said the prosecution has supplied sufficient evidence in proof to all elements of the offences charged to warrant the court to call on the defendant to enter a defence. Awomolo, who praised the court to dismiss the no-case submission, argued that all the court was required to do at this stage of the case was to take a panoramic view of the evidence led so far and determine whether or not to prima facie case he has been made out against Kanu to warrant his being called to enter a defense. Earlier defense lawyer Kanu Agabi argued that all the prosecution has succeeded in doing is painting the picture that Nnamdi Kanu is a bad man. After listening to the arguments of lawyers on both sides, Justice Omotosho adjourned till October 10, 2025 for ruling on whether or not to allow the no-case submission and free the defendant or reject it and order him to enter his defense. The Federal High Court in Ilorin, Kwara State has jailed a self-styled gospel singer and 8 others, all for offences bordering on cybercrime, conspiracy, and misappropriation of funds. The offences were brought against them by the Ilorin Zonal Directorate of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, according to a statement by the head of media and publicity of the EFCC, Dele Oyewale Moses Otitoju, a 31-year-old gospel artist from Yemoye in Ijumo local government area of Kogi State, was on Thursday sentenced to 6 months imprisonment without the option of a fine by Justice Abimbola Awogboro. Otitoju, who claimed in his statement to be a popular gospel performer at weddings, naming ceremonies, and funerals in Lokoja, Kogi State, was found guilty of retaining the proceeds of unlawful activities mounting to over 8.4 million naira in his bank account. Otitoju was convicted alongside Ayodele Joseph, Adeoye Joseph, and Abubakar Abdul Malik, all arraigned by the Ilorin Zonal Directorate of the Anti-Graft Agency on similar charges. The Kaduna State Police Command on Friday announced the arrest of a notorious bandit leader who has been on the run for over a decade, alongside 3 suspected motorcycle thieves across the state. The command said it recovered a 12 sophisticated firearms, ammunition, a stolen Toyota Prado SUV, and 2 motorcycles during its recent operations. The arrested bandit, identified as Marty Baggio, a 34-year-old resident of Ngwan Galadima in Shika District, Giwa local government area of Kaduna State, was said to have led a criminal gang that terrorized communities across Kaduna and Katsina states for years. In a statement, the State Police Public Relations Officer Mansur Hassan said Baggio was apprehended by a detective attached to the anti-kidnapping unit led by CSP Sani Zuntu following credible intelligence. In the meantime, the federal government has issued an alert warning Nigerians of the outbreak of infectious diseases across the country. Issuing the warning on Friday via its website, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention (NCDC) confirmed the widespread outbreak of cholera, dengue fever, mpox, diphtheria, and yellow fever. The Public Health Agency warned of serious public health care risk if urgent action was not taken, arguing that the ongoing outbreaks required immediate national attention. According to the NCDC, suspected cholera cases have been reported in 34 states, with Zamfara accounting for 32% of the total, as of June 23 to 29, 2025. NCDC also confirmed a dengue fever outbreak in Edo between June 9 and 13 following laboratory investigations. Dengue, like yellow fever, is spread by Aedes mosquitoes and is being fueled by poor sanitization and climate-related conditions. Meanwhile, the NCDC said mpox and diphtheria remained ongoing threats. President Bola Tinubu on Friday paid a condolence visit to the family of late businessman Aminu Dantata, who died in June. The plane carrying Tinubu taxied into the Aminu Kano International Airport in Kano around 3 p.m. in the afternoon. He was received by an entourage, including officials of the Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf, government officials, among others. On Thursday, Sunusi Bantwa, the spokesman to Governor Abba Yusuf, said the president would visit the Northwest states to condole with the Dantata family and the people of Kano State over the death of the late philanthropist. Tinubu's visit comes about 3 weeks after the business icon died at the age of 94 in Abu Dhabi, the United Arab Emirates. Dantata, an elder statesman, is the uncle of business mogul Aliko Dangote. The Ogun State government has announced the constitution of a state burial committee for the late Awujale and the paramount ruler of Ijebu land, Oba Sikiru Adetono, who passed on Sunday, July 13, 2025, and was buried the following day. According to the statement signed by the Secretary to the state government, Tokumbo Talabi, the committee is being saddled with the responsibility of organizing and coordinating every official activity towards giving the late monarch a befitting burial in honor of his legacy and contributions to Ogun State and Nigeria at large. Meanwhile, the committee, at its inaugural meeting on Thursday, said it would work in consultation with the family of the departed monarch, who were present at the meeting, and other stakeholders to ensure a successful and befitting programs for the departed king, given the anticipated attendance of President Bola Tinubu. In other developments, the Ogun State's Governor, Dapo Abiodun, has said his administration will commence full implementation of the contributory pension scheme for state workers from July 2025. Governor Abiodun gave his pledge when he met with members of the organized labor to address the gray areas in the implementation of the contributory pension scheme and other sundry matters that led to the ongoing strike embarked upon by workers in the state. At a meeting with the leadership of the organized labor at the governor's office in Okemosa, Abeokuta, Abiodun said his administration would ensure immediate payments for workers who retired from July 2, 2025 through the contributory pension scheme. This was just as he indicated that a 10-year payment plan would commence from 2025 to 2030 under the first phase, while the second phase, which would commence next year, would be from 2030 to 2035. He said with the arrangement, payment would be made for the remaining 2 years of his tenure, while 8 years of payment would be for his successors. President Bola Tinubu has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to the continued development of Akwa Ibom State, assuring that the federal government will work closely with the states in line with the renewed hope agenda and the state's Rise agenda. The president gave the assurance on Friday when he received in audience the Senate President Godswill Akpabio, Governor of Akwa Ibom State Umuaheno, and 2 senators from the state, Senator Anyakan Akpan and Senator Ekong Samson. This was contained in a statement from a government house press unit on Friday. The president emphasized his dedication to inclusive national development and praised Governor Umuaheno's Rise agenda, as a strategic complement to the federal government's renewed hope agenda. The visit also featured the formal presentation of Senators Eniakan Akpan and Ekong Samson, who recently defected to the All Progressives Congress. The delegation used the occasion to commiserate with the president on the passing of former President Muhammadu Buhari, describing his death as a national loss and acknowledging his legacy in strengthening Nigeria's democracy. Africa Foundation for Young Media Professionals, IFYMP, has called on journalists to prioritize accurate and inclusive reporting when covering issues related to persons with disabilities. The call was made during a one-day disability and inclusion training for journalists held in Lagos State. The workshop, organized by AFYMP, brought together media practitioners to enhance their understanding of disability issues and the importance of responsible reportage. Facilitators also emphasized that journalists play a critical role in shaping public perception and must avoid stereotypes, stigmatizing language, and harmful narratives when reporting on persons with disabilities. While speaking in an interview, AFYMP Executive Director Yinka Olayuto said the training was organized to equip media professionals on the need as media continues to shape societal attitudes. Initiatives like AFYP's training underscore the need for journalists to lead the charge in fostering a more inclusive and equitable society.
While we're doing this, we have seen that there's a knowledge gap between what the media people should know and how to interpret the conditions and the peculiarities of persons with disability to the society. We understand the role of media in this because without media informing the society properly, people will not know. We know that Africa and Nigeria is, when it comes to disability issue, it's a lot of myth, it's a lot of stereotypes, it's a lot of wrong beliefs about them. And therefore, we want to, first of all, move people from lack of knowledge to the knowledge gap, and the media will be able to do this. That's why we concentrate on the media to ensure that we have media that is well informed about disability issues, and therefore they can lead in championing the orientation.
You're watching News at 7 on Western Spring Television. Still to come. President Bola Tinubu appoints Muhammad Babangida, son of former military dictator Ibrahim Babangida, as chairman of Bank of Agriculture. We'll bring you more on this on return.